And on to debate number 2. Viewers, high drama was witnessed in the Supreme Court today as a lawyer attempted to remove a shoe and throw it at the Chief Justice of India, BR Gavai, who was inside the court. Now, what really is the context is to be seen, because this particular individual left the courtroom specifically saying Sanatan ka apman nahi sahenge. While security personnel intervened in time and took him away, these remarks and this development is very significant, because this comes several days after the Chief Justice of India had made certain comments in the case of the beheading of Vishnu statue, and his comments at that point of time had caused a major social media storm. Remember that it was said that he was accused of hurting religious sentiments, and he had later said that he respects all religions. However, there is a massive political fight that is now brewing, with the Congress party saying that this is a result of the venom spread by the BJP and the RSS.
Very shocking thing, 100 years of RSS, what it has done to the constitution, done to the constitutional position is clear now. RSS has only spread this kind of venom, poisonous venom across India, and it has reached to the courtrooms of the Chief Justice of India. It is very unfortunate that Chief Justice of India has been mistreated like this, insulted by this kind of things by a Sanghi, and we hope that the Delhi police takes strong action, because RSS venomous campaign against these kind of things should not be allowed to happen.
देश को कहां लेके जाना चाहते हैं? पाषाण युग में ले जाना चाहते हैं क्या? अरे दुनिया चली गई अंतरिक्ष पे, तुम पाषाण की तरफ जा रहे हो। कहां लेके जाना चाहते हो देश को? अकेला खड़ा कर दिया पूरे विश्व में तुमने अपने आप को। कोई हमारा दोस्त नहीं है और हम किसी के नहीं है। कहां खड़े हो गए हम? ये देश डूबने के कगार पर ले जा रहे हैं, तो संभालिए इसको, नींद से जागे। मैं प्रधानमंत्री जी से कह रहा हूं कि नींद से जागिए।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest now. Joining us with us is Ratan Sharda, author, Jay Dhyadray, advocate on record in the Supreme Court, is with us. We also have advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst. But let me start with Sanjay Hegde, who's a senior advocate. Sanjay Hegde, we've seen the Prime Minister also come out and say that he spoke to the Chief Justice. He's also said that the attack on him in the Supreme Court premises has angered every Indian. There's no place for such reprehensible acts in our society. It's utterly condemnable. But we are seeing the kind of politics play out on this. We have seen leaders such as Manikam Tagore come out and directly associated this with the kind of what he is calling hate spread by the BJP and the RSS. Is this a time to really play politics in a situation like this? Do you justify the comments that have been made by the Congress Member of Parliament? Sanjay Hegde.
Look, I don't speak for any political party. I speak for myself. This is not a time to play politics, but yes, the question is intensely political. Why was this shoe attempted to be thrown? Because of something that the Chief Justice said. What the Chief Justice said in what was amplified out of context by a whole host of people on social media, by organized troll factories and everything. Some 70-year-old from Mayur Vihar, a lawyer who, though being a member of the Supreme Court Bar Association, I have not interacted with over the past so many years. I don't know him. He seems to have been agitated enough to attempt to throw a shoe at the Chief Justice. It is not unusual. These things have happened before. I have noted an incident where Justice Hidayatullah in his autobiography says that a litigant threw a shoe at him. He ordered the shoe returned, saying that the man has lost his case. He should not lose his shoe as well. In this case also, I believe that the registry of the Supreme Court has said that the Chief Justice does not want to press charges and has also ordered the shoe to be returned. So whatever compliments are paid are returned with compliments. The thing is, everything in this country gets political. Everybody is impatient to rush to judgment based on short clippings. So I cannot perform the same function for the benefit of your audience. I would say that the more oxygen that this matter is given, the worse it is for the country as a whole and its institutions. The act of one
Well, I will just say this. It's a shocking incident. I will just say this, that it's a shocking incident.
It should not define the country's politics.
It should not define the country's politics in an ideal situation. Unfortunately, that's how it is when it comes to our country's politics. Ratan Sharda, Sanjay Hegde is taking a stand saying that this should not be defining our country's politics, but it is an unprecedented incident. It is, the kind of respect we show to institutions, is something that is dependent on all of us. And if you have a situation where someone is so incensed that he goes and throws a shoe at the Chief Justice, is this something that politics should be played out at all? Ratan Sharda.
First of all, I agree with the Sanjay Ji, whom I really agree with. I agree with him because this was a very small incident, very, very condemnable incident. What are the provocation? The sanctity of the courts must be maintained. A loony goes to a court, puts up a case which does not stand scrutiny because ASI cannot repair the murtis. There is no law which allows that. That was the end of the matter. And whatever ballooned out of it, and what is happening now, an unknown lawyer gets a few minutes of fame on the TV, and there are people out there who are trying to pass remarks against RSS, Hindus. When Hindus fight cases like Ram Setu and Ram Mandir, they patiently go for the court continuously for 30 years, 40 years, and fight the case in the court. If they lose, they go again. They never insult any court. That is Hindu mentality. As a Hindu, I totally despise these kind of behavior. But I also say that this kind of behavior is also a result of the toxic politics of Congress party, which just started politicizing it. A party which did not actually felicitate RSS for saving lives of lakhs of people during partition, who used RSS to reach safely to Delhi to get into ministry and all. They condemned RSS who actually saved Kashmir along with armies, and instead of felicitating, they were condemned as criminals, as communals, as rioters, and that is the reason that the Gandhi assassination used their a stick to beat RSS, despite within 1 month having a clear investigation that RSS had no hand. They created a suffering terror story, a Hindu terror story. They created a bill called Communal Violence, which showed Hindus in a very poor light. They have a secular constitution which Hindus have less rights, minorities have more rights. Then what kind of secularism this is? All these is happening. Temples have been looted. Gold has turned into brass.
Okay.
Gold has been melted, but nobody can go to court. When Kashmiri Hindu goes to court, it is expiry date. 1984 Sikh case, not expiry date. All this is happening, but nobody condemns the Supreme Court. Nobody attacks. We have a say. Even in ASX, I have been complaining and criticizing ASI and Cultural Ministry, despite being the supporter. They keep very poorly maintain the ASI sites. It is horrible condition. Go to Ellora, you'll be ashamed. What is the condition of the Ellora case? Outside the Ellora case, you can't even get in. So they have to do their duty. But for somebody to make a loony kind of behavior to turn into political debate is not the right thing.
Okay, it's not the right thing to make this into a political debate. Nikhil Jain, respond to that. And this is a convenient political narrative because it fits into what you've said in the past. But it is unfortunate that such kind of incidents are being politicized in this unfortunate manner. This is what the two previous speakers have said. And even Sanjay Hegde is no supporter of the BJP or the RSS, but even he is of that view. What do you think, Nikhil Jain?
Madhav, first of all, when people mention an attack on the Chief Justice of India, in the same sentence as some statement made by the Chief Justice a couple of days ago, I think that is just nothing but just an attempt on justifying the attack on the Chief Justice. Secondly, for your viewers, let me give a hypothetical. What if the person who threw the shoe said, Islam ki toheen nahi sahenge? Would Mr. Sharda come and said the same thing? Would he not have called it an act of anarchy, an act of terror, and this and that? But no, now because the person the person said something in line with what his what his institution wants to propound, he would not call him an anarchist or a terrorist.
How do you know others would not have said this? Why are you jumping to conclusion, Nikhil Jain?
No, Madhav, I've been on very many debates with Mr. Sharda. You know it as well as I do that had it been a Muslim who had hurled a shoe like this and talked about Islam, he would have had a very, very different view on this. And let's talk about what you said on this debate. Let's talk about what he has said on this debate.
Okay.
He mentions they have a secular constitution as if it is not his constitution, because the last I checked, the same constitution applies to people who have faith in the RSS and those who don't. It is a secular constitution for everybody, but they have a problem with it, and that lies at the root cause of it. That, like Mr. Hegde mentioned, that the RSS, RSS chamber, all these troll factories and all these RSS supporting social media handles tried to get.
No, my simple point. One second. I don't want to get into this ideological debate. Mr. Sharda can defend himself. But Nikhil Jain, when somebody says that an act of violence is caused by a particular political party or any other organization, there has to be something concrete linking it. How do we know for a fact that that is indeed what has happened in this case? And isn't it in that sense a little irresponsible to be saying so? That's the only question I have. You can have all sorts of ideological didactic debates, that's fine. But the point I'm making is linking it to a particular individual or a party or an organization has to be done with some amount of responsibility. Nikhil Jain.
Are those questions asked when every single protest in the country against this government is somehow linked to the Congress party? When the CAA protest was pinned on the Congress party, and as if the Congress party was trying to break away the nation and this and that. When the BJP does the same thing, it's all right. But when the Congress party does, it is not. See, we all know what line of thinking that individual had.
Nobody is saying that is all right.
I said they means Congress, who created the constitution, created laws which were against majority but pro-minority, but called themselves secular. Oppressive laws like Temple Control Act, where money is being used, siphoned off, the lands are being encroached upon, and Hindus cannot have their own education institutions, so many other things. I said that. I did not say not my constitution. What constitution comes is mine also. Secondly, is leading argument saying Ratan would have said this, but did I? If a Muslim said the same thing, I would have condemned same way. I called him a loony advocate who wanted 15 minutes of fame. You can't agree to that. I said he should not have gone for this case to the Supreme Court. Was that the right statement? And did he not defend all this? Shivling is a Favara, and he said that Nupur Sharma created havoc and she should be punished. And where the Muslim Maulana said she should be hanged, should be killed, did you condemn that? You did not. So don't bring all those issues. The issue today is that a man makes some stupid activity which we condemn. You bring in RSS, you bring in BJP. So I answer that you have provoked Hindus continuously by talking of saffron tiger, for talking of oppressing the rights, making bills like convener violence bill and taking away temple money for secular purposes, melting gold and making gold door into brass doors, and you have no condemnation. You are a livestock of Sanatan Dharma is dengue, malaria. You never oppose it. You support them, and then you come here and tell that we are creating oppressive environment. We are creating toxicity. So don't create poison which you have to drink. You will drink that. You show disrespect to Supreme Court. You show disrespect to Election Commission. You say they're biased institutions. You destroy people's confidence. You say CAA against Muslims when there is nothing against Indian Muslims in that. You spread that poison or not? You tell me. Did you say that CAA was against Indian Muslims? It was not. You said that citizenship will go. Did it go? No. You are the people who create toxicity. You are the people who create distrust with the institutions of democracy, and then you come and lecture us. That's what Ratan Sharda will say.
Okay, let me come in now. Nikhil Jain, I will ask you a simple question. Let me come in now, Ratan Sharda. The point I'm making is there are two other individuals. We have BJP MP Khagen Murmu and MLA Shankar Ghosh. Are you familiar with what happened to them today? They were very brutally assaulted when all they were doing was providing relief work. Where is the outrage when it comes to such individuals? And it is a fact in this particular case that it's not the BJP that's ruling in that state. It is an opposition party, the TMC, with whom the Congress party is in alliance. So are we also seeing some amount of hypocrisy here?
Madhav, I will condemn any act of violence, whether it is meted out to a BJP MP or a Congress MP or any person. It is condemnable. And he said that when there were calls for beheading of Nupur Sharma or hanging of Nupur Sharma, I did not condemn it, but he can go back and check. I did. She said something that shouldn't have been said. She should have been prosecuted again, but that is not enough to hang somebody, kill somebody, behead somebody. That is nonsense. We don't live in a barbarian society. But I really don't know why are we talking about these things when we are talking about some individual throwing a shoe at the Chief Justice of India. Mr. Sharda is doing nothing but trying to give a justification for why the shoe was thrown. They have a secular constitution. Hindus' mandirs are being looted. Please.
No, he's not. He's not. He has condemned it outright. Let's not say that. But he has said there are issues. There are issues, whether legal or constitutional or otherwise, which has, created some amount of, angst. The point that he is also making is that there is absolutely no reason to, and he also answered your question when he said if the person was of another religious persuasion, would his response be the same? He said very much so. But let me bring in Jay. Jay, there's one thing that the opposition will say in this context. And of course, linking this incident directly to the BJP or RSS is one thing. But the kind of rhetoric, the kind of trolling, the kind of statements that we often see tend to be a little inflammatory. And perhaps in this context, one has to also look back and say that perhaps, somewhere or the other when we comment, say on social media or otherwise, there has to be a sense of moderation. Otherwise, incidents like this will keep happening, which will bring disrepute not just to our courts, but to us as a nation. Jay.
Madhav, I quite agree with you. But, in this particular instance, this is a lone wolf who has operated, right? He doesn't belong to any organization. He's not affiliated to either any political party or the RSS or any affiliate of the RSS or the Sangh. So first of all, for anybody to say that, this has happened because of the RSS or this person is linked to the RSS, I think amounts to contempt in my view, because in effect it interferes with the honest investigation that should take place to determine why this person did what he did, and he should be prosecuted for it. So I'd like to put that out straight away. In any case, this person's license has now been revoked, or he's been suspended by the Bar Council, which is, I think, a very welcome move. In fact, one must compliment the Honorable Chief Justice's magnanimity also in letting him go. He's a 71-year-old person. In fact, even his shoe was returned to him. So let's come back to the main issue. When you have commentators, say from the left or from, the Congress, I was able to hear a smattering of what the other gentleman said, that there is this environment or climate of hate. I think it's completely misplaced. Have we forgotten, for instance, what happened during the emergency between 75 and 77? How many judges were transferred? How many judges were, bypassed, in line to become Chief Justice of India? Have we forgotten what happened during the Congress regime in 1984 when the Sikh pogrom took place, or in, non-BJP ruled states like West Bengal? One moment, Mr. Hegde, like Kerala or West Bengal, where BJP and RSS workers are butchered, murdered in the most grotesque manner imaginable. What about those incidents? And here you have an individual. Yes, there is freedom of speech and expression in this country. The Honorable Chief Justice said something that may have hurt the sentiments of certain individuals. He clarified it later and said that that's not what he meant. Social media misconstrued it. But does that possibly mean that anybody is for a moment, saying that any form of violence is correct or acceptable? Nobody is saying that. But now to try and score brownie points in this manner, but by trying to falsely link that person to the Sangh Parivar or the RSS or the BJP, I think that's so petty. I mean, that's the worst kind of political brownie point scoring, imaginable, but perhaps expected from the Congress given its desperation in recent times. But this, according to me, amounts to Madhav contempt. You have let there be an investigation. Now, if the Congress knows for a fact, this gentleman who's raising his hand, for instance, if this fine gentleman knows for a fact that this person is linked to the BJP or RSS, I'm not saying he has said it, but I'm saying if any person from, the sort of persuasion that he belongs to, let them put it on affidavit and bring it before the police. If they know something about why this person did what he did, why should you come and interfere in the investigation at this stage and make these false statements to try and score some points?
Madhav, can I quickly respond?
Can I just come in?
Okay. Sanjay Hegde.
Can I?
Sanjay Hegde, one second, just one second. I want to bring in Sanjay Hegde. Sanjay Hegde, I just want to bring in one simple thing, that, how do we protect our institutions from going into this kind of a situation, because this is the kind of incident that can set a very, very wrong precedent. Because instead of arguing our matters out peacefully before courts, if people are going to start throwing things at judges, you may have cited or quoted one particular incident that happened decades ago, but in the current political milieu, this can set a very wrong precedent. What needs to be done? What needs to be done to prevent this from happening in the future?
There have been more than that in that Hidayatullah incident, but that's not the point here. The point here is that irrespective of who associates whom with which political party, there is a certain sense of tribalization which is going on, especially in social media. There have been BJP leaning handles who have put out things like this. I'm trying to show your people it has the photograph of the lawyer and a photograph of the revered Mahatma Godse on the same thing and saying Jai Sri Ram, Jai Sanatan. So there are people from within one ecosystem who are claiming it proudly. There are others who say, no, we have nothing to do with it. Jay is right to the extent that let the investigation...
No, but is that an official handle? I cannot see very clearly what you're saying, Sanjay Hegde. Is that from an official handle or a leader of the BJP?
I'm sorry. You go through social media, you see the continual BJP handles, and I can name several of them, but why invite trouble for your channel? Go through all
quick response. We are out of time. Jay, quick response. There are right-wing handles who are in fact trying to claim credit for it. This is also not correct.
Madhav, with great respect to Mr. Hegde, he is my senior colleague at the bar. I respectfully, vehemently disagree with him. The exception cannot make the rule. Some loony fringe element of any side comes out and says something that cannot, possibly, dictate what the narrative will be, or to say that it's the entire sort of, you paint one entire side by saying that, they're all like that. I don't quite agree with him. And I think, yes, there are loony fringe elements on every side, but it is, if you look at statistics, I just like to say something. If you look at the statistics, it is usually the loony elements on the left that are known and prone to commit more violence. That is what West Bengal has shown.
All right, whether left or right, we cannot allow this to happen inside our Supreme Court. It doesn't matter if they're left, right, center, or what have you. The point is, you cannot have a situation where this is happening. As far as our Chief Justice of India in our Supreme Court is concerned, the Prime Minister has condemned both incidents, has spoken to the CJI, of course, and has also condemned the violence that took place on a Member of Parliament and an MLA in West Bengal. Ratan Sharda, Jay Deadray, Nikhil Jain, Sanjay Hegde, thanks so much for joining us this evening.